So we are going to move swiftly on to item number 7, which is the Local Nature Recovery Strategy. And this is a report from, I believe, Ian Fitzpatrick and Jim Murray. But before we do that, we do have Mrs. Stallard requesting to speak. So if perhaps Mrs. Stallard would like to come up to the mic. Thank you, Mrs. Stallard. I know you've spoken here before, so as always, press the button when you're ready to speak. Thank you.
I have read the Local Nature Recovery Scheme, which is to be discussed today, and hope that it will do what it says and halt some of the harm that we have wreaked on the environment. We must, and I quote, reverse the decline in species abundance. And there is, and again I quote, some urgency to publish the LNRS given the current biodiversity crisis. I note also that biodiversity is, and once more I quote, a material consideration in the plan-making process. So far, so good. But wait, while it is helpful that there is a plan to stop the use of glyphosate eventually, and there is awareness of the polluting habits of southern water, anyone who has done any research into 4 and 5G will know that the telecoms masts which have been springing up, especially in the last 4 to 5 years, have a devastating effect on the environment. Scientific paper after scientific paper details the dying of trees when located adjacent to masts, the loss of radar capability in bees and birds, and the effects of radio frequency radiation on insects. We like to think, conveniently, that it's only glyphosate and neonicotinoids which have affected our wildlife, but this is very much not the case, if only it were so simple. And, oh, yes, Eastbourne Park is a very special and remarkably biodiverse place, according to a local ecologist who knows the site well. It is a stronghold of the harvest mouse and home to many rare and protected species of plants and insects, many of which are on the government's at-risk list. Whatever Suncoast Solar may say, land does not thrive under solar panels, and biodiversity is always affected. And yet, the Council, in its questionable wisdom, has decided to allow nearly 80 acres of this land to be industrialized with these panels, which are not only remarkably inefficient when used in the UK, producing only about 20% of their potential energy, but also environmentally catastrophic in their manufacture. But as this happens in poor countries, perhaps it doesn't matter, even though it smacks of neo-colonialism. It appears that biodiversity and the environment only matter when there is no money to be made. Is this why this council is hell-bent on destroying our corner of this once green and pleasant land? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll ask Councillor Murray and Ian Fitzpatrick, the Director, to respond to the summation of their report. So over to you, Jim.